This year, I decided to take up the challenge of the Year of Yes, based off a book by Shonda Rhimes, the writer and producer of major hits on television like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder. I had her book on my to be read pile for several years before I even picked it up. I picked it up and read it in late 2024, I believe. Yeah, 2024. But I never followed through. I thought it was an interesting concept. It would move and expand my mind because I felt myself closing in on myself like a turtle. I lived in my shell and I would peek my head out every now and then. But I felt that world getting smaller and smaller, and I felt a challenge like the Year of Yes would get me out of my shell and expand my mindset, my view, get me back to being more of who I used to be. And hopefully, in addition to that, being even better than I've ever been. And so this year, I plan to do the Year of Yes. I started on January 1st doing something that I know I would not have done. I'd have just skipped right over it because I had been following a group on Facebook of Blacks getting fit in Orlando. And they put up a post about joining a hiking group. They go out once or twice a month to different trails in the Orlando area. And so normally I'd have looked at it and said, "Ooh, that sounds fun. Sounds like a good idea." And I would have kept scrolling because I was like, I don't know those people. Not going out there. So I said, oh, remember, this is the Year of Yes. This is a year of saying things you would normally say no to, things that challenge you, things that you're afraid of. Of course, obviously, you're not saying yes to things that violate your values or violate your goals that you have for yourself. You're not doing anything disrespectful to others or to yourself. But that didn't fall in that category. So I went in and, how you have comment and then they'll a word and then they'll send you the information. And so I commented the word hiking and they sent me the information. By the time I read it all, I had missed the first hike, which was actually yesterday. But come February, I will be doing a hike on a trail in this area. Something I would have never done. So on Sundays, it'll either be a short video or maybe even a long video like this one where I'll be documenting my Year of Yes. So if you are interested in this journey, please come back and see what I post every Sunday as I go through this. I'm excited and terrified at the same time because there are other things that I know I need to say yes to. And obviously that means, in some instances, that means saying no to other things. Because I believe the last few years, I've mainly been really practicing saying no. And maybe I went too far to the other side in saying no that I forgot how to say yes. So I'm excited, like I said before, and terrified of what this year will bring, what I will be saying yes to, and having the intestinal fortitude to follow through and do those things. If you're interested, like I said, it was based on a book by Shonda Rhimes, The Year of Yes. This book right here. Ooh. And what I found out a couple of weeks ago was last year was the 10-year anniversary of the release of The Year of Yes. So that tells you how long it had been sitting on my to be read pile. Not the whole 10 years, because I didn't come across it until years later, but it spent several years on my to be read pile. But found out for it being the 10th anniversary last year, she re-released the book and it has additional information and things like that. So I bought the Audible version of it and I've been listening to it again, and I'm very appreciative of audio. For those of you who don't know, I have a serious reading problem. I love books, but I've come to really enjoy and love biographies and autobiographies and books like these that are read by the author. There's a flavor, there's a depth, there's a richness to it that you don't get any other way. So I've been reading that, and we'll probably talk through some of those kinds of things that she says that I need to address, because it's not just saying yes to opportunities, it's saying yes to things that you know you need to do in your own life that you have to face. And I've decided to do this series, as you can tell, in black and white, kind of like old-fashioned Walter can't talk, Concrete. Goodness gracious, I can't even say the man's name. Walter Concrete. Woo! Gonna have to work on that one. News kind of style, journal kind of style. I want it to be more about the story than about the colors, about the background, or anything like that. So we're going to give it a shot in this black and white and see how it comes out. Like I said, this is the year of yes. If you would like to join me, feel free, comment below and say I'm with you. And we can see how we can get through this year together. If not, if you just want to be a voyeur, because I've spent plenty of time doing that in other people's YouTube channels, just watching, never really commenting, liking videos here and there, but never really saying anything. Feel free to do that too. But the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, I think, at the end of the year is to have a changed mind and a changed heart. Because I believe doing more positive yeses will expand my world, that for some other unknown reason, how you do it bit by bit, and then you realize you've constricted your life so much that not everything, a lot of the things that made life beautiful for me, I'm not doing anymore. A lot of the people that I probably should have put more time in relationships, I didn't do. So I expect this year to be eye-opening, challenging, but a lot of growth, a lot of change in heart and in mindset. I expect a lot of blunders here and there. Cronkite, there you go. I got it. See, it works. But that's what I'm looking forward to, is feeling the fear and doing it anyway. Because one of the things I definitely want to say yes to is holding tight to believing that God is God and who he says he is. And if I believe that, like I say I do, there should be no fear. Because no matter how anything falls out, shakes out, he is in control. He can take the bad and use it to make it good. He can take the good and make it great. I just have to trust and walk out my faith to live a life that shows that what I believe, to be a living witness, not necessarily a preacher or evangelist or anything like that. I just want to live my faith out loud. And I believe a lot of that is tied to the ability to say yes, the ability to embrace things that make most people afraid, or that we convince ourselves that we should be afraid. I want to stop gaslighting myself and putting limits on myself, to open the box that I've put myself in and live a life more out loud, more in color. So again, if you'd like to join me, I'll be posting these videos on Sundays. And they'll be totally unscripted, no outlines, just like this off the top of my head. So if you like it, please subscribe, like the video. Have a wonderful Sunday.